Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the process of removing soil contaminated with a chemical that spilled from the port, or rather at the Port of Victoria, has begun. 25 News now has the latest. And authorities say a serial thief stole road signs that warn drivers of high water that look on roadways that look like this one. We'll tell you what authorities know so far. And across the nation, a correction on the FAFSA may unlock billions of dollars in aid for borrowers. However, fixing the error may cause some delays. We'll tell you all about it.
And we thought that the rain was done with this week, but we might see just a tiny bit more coming this afternoon before it's all said and done. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
The Victoria West Warriors baseball team not listening to the outside noise here from interim head coach Jay Perez coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 26th day of January 2024. The time is now just about 6:31 on our Friday morning, and it's Australia Day.
Australia Day. Have you ever been to Australia?
Oh, no, but it would be so great. I do love the Rescuers Down Under. Did you ever? It may be a little bit before your time, but it's a wonderful Disney film.
You just roasted me.
And it's about saving a kidnapped child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really beautiful film, though.
I might have to go watch that then. I was going to say, on top of Australia, they get really hot summers, but.
Oh, yeah. I really want to go to Victoria, Australia.
Victoria?
I've been to Victoria, Canada, but now, now I need to go to Australia.
That's right. You were telling me about that. Well, good morning, Crossroaders. If y'all tuning in this morning, you're looking at a live look at Victoria, and I don't know what happened to my camera. It looks like it went straight up in the sky. I guess something, maybe the wind or something moved it. But if y'all waking up this morning, if you just tuned in, a little bit chilly out there this morning, about 54 here in the Crossroads. But with the dew point at 53, just 1 degree off in the temperature, got a 97% humidity. So it is very humid out there, which is actually, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that actually might be fog. Now that I think about that, Carolina, that might be fog. Yeah, that might be fog because they had some bad fog out there in Cuero, but looking at the visibilities right now, I don't know, it's kind of questionable. I have to go double check it here in just a second. About 3/4 mile visibility here in the Crossroads. The same thing in Nixon as well, but a 1/4 mile visibility in Gonzales. So some of us are seeing some pretty good fog this morning, so please be careful on the roads. Don't want to get in any kind of wrecks with that fog, but the good news is that fog will be out of our area by later this morning by around 9 or 10 as that sun starts coming up in the sky. But looking at your weather headlines for today, foggy Friday and Saturday mornings, this morning and tomorrow morning with that high humidity. But today's going to be the last day of rain where we might see some drizzle and some light showers this afternoon. Take a look at that just a second, and nice and cool weather is following right after that rain is all said and done. Looking at that future tracker here, like I said, probably thinking this afternoon might see a little bit of light drizzle and some light showers, but we'll take a look at that and the timing when it's all said and done and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Cleanup began at the Port of Victoria yesterday following January 3rd's chemical spill at the Shamrock Products Terminal. Contaminated soil at the port will now go to U.S. Ecology, a hazardous waste facility in Robstown designed to handle that kind of material. San Patricio County Sheriff Oscar Rivera says about 50 to 60 trucks of soil moved through his county yesterday. It's unclear how long it's going to take to remove all of the contaminated soil from the port. Authorities say about 300 barrels of crude oil and diesel leaked at the Shamrock Products Terminal at the Port of Victoria on January 3rd. Floodwaters almost overtook FM 530 in Speaks at the Navidad River Bridge. As you can see, the road's partially underwater this morning. Lavaca County authorities have closed the road until further notice. But the water is not the only problem the city's facing. There's reportedly a serial road sign bandit on the loose. Authorities say thieves took the road sign that were set up to close the road because of the high water, and that was at 3 county roads in Lavaca County on Wednesday. Witnesses say they saw a red pickup in the area of one of the thefts, and that's the only lead authorities have right now. Be sure to call Crime Stoppers in Lavaca County using the number on your screen if you know anything. A river flood warning is now in effect until Sunday morning for the Colorado River at Wharton. The river is expected to crest at 42.9 feet later today. Flood stage is 39 feet. The FAFSA form error that would have limited students' financial aid is getting corrected soon. The Education Department plans to fix an error in how financial aid will be calculated for students starting their post-secondary education next year. The department estimates the new fix will give students access to an additional $1.8 billion in federal student aid. However, experts say implementing the fix to the free application for federal student aid could lead to delays in the students receiving aid offers. The error involved a failure to adjust financial aid tables for inflation. Specifically, the tables show how much of a student's family's income should be protected from being considered to pay for college expenses. The Wall Street Journal says Apple's European customers will soon face new fees and restrictions when the tech giant allows software downloads outside the App Store. This comes after the European Commission began to enforce the Digital Markets Act, which aims to pair the power of big tech firms. The European rules are designed to make it easier for customers to move between services, and all tech firms are required to comply with the European rules by March 7th. The famous Stanley Tumbler's latest cup design sold out in just 30 minutes. Stanley Tumblers became a viral sensation due to their durability, and the obsession with the cups hit a new level last week when a woman was arrested and accused of stealing 65 of them from a store in California. A limited edition Lunar New Year themed Stanley Tumbler was launched yesterday and featured a red and cream design with colorful scales in honor of the Year of the Dragon. Additional stock of the limited edition Lunar New Year themed tumbler only available now in Canada. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Let's take a look at the clock. It is 6:36 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. High demand jobs are out there, and now there's grant funding available to help train those people for those positions.
The U.S. economy shattering expectations. I'm ABC's Jay O'Brien in Washington. Coming up, what the Treasury Secretary says about the potential for a recession this year.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, followed by your health forecast, and later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at that nice weather that's coming our way next week.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. We hear from Be Well Victoria. We learn about the need for blood donations, the Heart Walk, and we learn a little bit about Black History Month and a special program coming to our community.
It's different. I really liked how Miss Shelton gave me Henry Brown because no one really knew about him, and I feel like I'm introducing him,
Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all waking up with us or just tuning in with us this morning, look at a live look at Cuero, where it is really foggy. That fog has really picked up out there in Cuero. Look at that, you can barely even see the water tower, and that's like not even a quarter mile away out there. About 53 degrees out there in Cuero right now, but with that dew point matching that temperature, you've got a 100% humidity out there. And this one's saying you got 0 mile visibility out there. So that's pretty dangerous out there, folks. So please be careful out on the roads this morning. Don't want to get in any kind of wrecks. But if you're sending your kiddos off to school this morning, it's going to be about 53 as they're heading out the door. Maybe pack them a light jacket or just a nice enough jacket because it's going to be a little cool for the rest of the day. Only warming up to about 65 this afternoon with some drizzle and some light showers also possible this afternoon. We'll take a look at that later. But look at your health forecast for today. All green lights, all go for launch today. Got no pollen in the forecast. Air quality is good, and your UV is going to be low today with this possible drizzle and showers later today. But after the rain is all said and done, we're back to some nice and cool weather. Now we'll take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Victoria West Baseball has started under interim head coach Jay Perez. Here's sports reporter Zach Brown.
The West Warriors have begun baseball practice under interim head coach Jay Perez. He has been with the school for about 9 years now, so he certainly knows what he's doing. And while head coach Austin Molinaro is out, he's taking on new roles, but says the kids don't even notice the difference. They've just shown up. And although he's currently got a lot more on his plate, it's business as usual.
They are showing up every day with a purpose, and they're ready to change things here for our program. And these kids, I'm telling you, I'd pick them over anybody any day of the week. They're incredible, and they show up and they get after it. You know, these kids are true warriors. They show up every day, and they're working hard. They're putting in the work right now. Let's go. Let's go, Warriors.
He says there have been some obvious changes in terms of new roles being fulfilled now that he's currently the man in charge. But in terms of the team itself, they have been putting in the usual work, finally able to go outside yesterday after being forced indoors for days due to weather. Today is a basketball Friday, and in girls hoops, we've got a few teams that were ranked in the area once again. In Class 2A, you've got the Shiner ladies at number 10. They just got done beating Bloomington in a pretty good matchup over at the Bloom. In Class 3A, we've got the Hallettsville Lady Brahmas at number 20. Hallettsville and Edna tied for first place in that district. Those two split the season series this year. Edna left off this list, by the way. And in Class 4A, your likely soon-to-be district champion, Cuero Lady Gobblers, number 17. They have a 2-game lead on Lavernia with only 3 games to go, and that is who they will play on Tuesday on the road. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV or Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. New numbers show the U.S. economy is growing at a faster than expected pace. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she believes 2024 will be a good year for the nation's economy.
This morning, the U.S. economy shattering expectations. New numbers from the Commerce Department showing the nation's gross domestic product grew at a blistering 3.3% pace from October through December of last year. Rapid growth quelling economists' fears of a recession.
We have an economy that has been growing at a good, healthy pace. I see no reason why that can't continue. I think 2024 is going to be a very good economic year.
In an exclusive interview with ABC News' Elizabeth Schulze, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen touting the growing economy.
But no reason right now why there would be a recession this year.
There's no obvious reason why there would be.
The strong growth driven largely by consumer spending, accounting for roughly 2/3 of U.S. economic activity. But recent polls consistently showing voters worried about the state of the U.S. economy. An ABC News Ipsos poll released earlier this month showing just 27% of Americans say they believe the American dream is attainable for them.
There are parts of the country that have really not seen much economic progress. They haven't seen good jobs created, and some that existed have disappeared in large swaths of the country, and that's something that has to change.
President Biden hoping the strong numbers will alter voters' largely pessimistic views about their finances this election year.
Thanks to the American people, America now has the strongest growth, the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world.
And there are some signs voters are finally agreeing. A survey out this month from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York found that the number of Americans who expect their financial situation to improve within the year is at its highest level since June of 2021. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. It's right there in the corner. We ask you, are you financially confident? Okay, let's take a look. 36% of you, that's the lowest this has been all morning, say yes. And 64% of you say no, you are not financially confident. We want to keep hearing from y'all. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. High demand jobs are out there, and now there's grant money available to help train people for those positions. This was a collaboration between Victoria College, the Victoria ISD, and a few other agencies. Texas Workforce Commissioner Chairman Brian Daniel was on hand at the Victoria College Emerging Tech Complex for the announcement. They provided nearly $250,000 in funds to help prepare Victoria's educational community for everything needed to train students in subjects like industrial technology and other similar fields.
The Victoria Sales Tax Corporation pledged $150,000. That was matched by the Workforce Commission for another $150 for dollar. That brings $300,000 toward training and support services to this community.
Again, the grant will help Workforce Solutions, Golden Crescent, Victoria College, and the VISD Career and Technical Education Program. The grant is in partnership with these training entities and is co-funded by the Victoria Sales Tax Development Corporation. Guajardo says the new industries coming to the Port of Victoria will appreciate this because this money will help fill those high demand jobs that will soon become available. Let's take a look at the clock. It is 6:46 on our Friday morning. Still to come, a new study finds babies born to mothers who got COVID-19 while pregnant had unusually high rates of respiratory issues.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. The good news is most of that rain is finally all of a sudden done, but we might have a little bit more coming our way this afternoon, which leads us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asked, how do rainy days make you feel? Let's take a look at y'all saying. About 85% of y'all say rainy days make you feel sleepy. I'm kind of right there with y'all on that one. None of y'all say it makes you feel frustrated. I know some of y'all makes it feel like you're frustrated. It's raining outside, can't walk outside in the rain. But 10% of y'all say it makes you feel calm. I'm right there with y'all as well. None of y'all say excited, and 5% of y'all say it makes it feel productive. I'm also right there with y'all on that as well because it makes you clean your house. You're kind of forced inside. But to vote on today's weather poll, go to crossroadstoday.com/voteweather to participate and see what everybody else is saying as well. Now, looking at yesterday's weather, we got to a nice warm 74 degrees. I know I was outside enjoying that sunshine that peeked its head out of the clouds, which we did not expect to peek its head out of the clouds. But the big talk from this week, without doubt, is the rain. 10 inches were dropped in Hallettsville. They had some major flooding issues up there. Same with Gonzales, where they got about 9 inches. And here in the Crossroads, we got 7.5 inches, and that was recorded over there at the Riverside Park. But the rain isn't done yet, at least I don't think so. I've got about 30–40% chance for some drizzle and some light showers this afternoon. Looking at your future tracker here. By noontime, not too much going on, but going into the later afternoon and into the early evening, those showers can start developing, like I said, a light shower or drizzle. But the good news is it's out of our area by tonight, and we'll take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A new study finds babies born to mothers who got COVID while pregnant had unusually high rates of respiratory issues. Researchers enrolled more than 200 women with COVID-19 in a study in Los Angeles. None of the babies tested positive for the infection at birth, but about 17% were diagnosed with respiratory issues, which is higher than average for newborns. The point of time the mother contracted COVID during the pregnancy did not have an impact on whether the infant experienced respiratory distress. The study found that unvaccinated mothers had 3 times the odds of respiratory distress in their babies compared to mothers who had at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccine. Health experts say not all mothers who contract COVID while pregnant will experience negative outcomes with their babies. The Federal Trade Commission is warning at least 39 funeral homes across the U.S. to stop misleading bereaved customers or face hefty penalties. During an undercover phone sweep of more than 250 funeral homes, the agency found 38 of them either refused to answer questions about pricing or gave inconsistent information about other funeral services. The FTC's consumer rights, called the Funeral Rule, says funeral homes must give customers a general price list, and customers must have the right to choose which services they want. The funeral homes that receive warning letters range from Texas to Philadelphia. If they don't comply, they could pay nearly $52,000 per violation. The National Funeral Directors Association says the median cost for funeral services is at around $8,000. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Police searching for a person wanted in connection to 2 stabbings and multiple hit-and-run incidents. Prince George County police officers searching for a person wanted in connection to 2 stabbings and multiple hit-and-run incidents in Maryland on Thursday. Police say an active and evolving investigation is underway for a woman suspected to be responsible for striking 5 pedestrians with the vehicle as well as stabbing 2 individuals. Both of the stabbing victims sustained critical injuries, and one of the victims is just 15 years old. Authorities say the driver hit pedestrians who were on the sidewalk. Police have not established a link between the person of interest and the victims at this time. Police ask anyone who may see this individual to contact authorities. Ventura County authorities are searching for an inmate who walked away from jail on Thursday. The inmate is identified as 31-year-old Jonathan Alfaro. Police say he walked away from a work detail at the pre-trial detention facility on Victoria Avenue around 7 p.m. He was assigned as a kitchen worker and was last seen on the loading dock before walking away from grounds. Authorities with flashlights were seen combing dark grassy areas near the jail, and a helicopter was searching from overhead. Alfaro is a burglary suspect, and authorities say he is not considered a danger to the public. Early voting in the Victoria special mayoral election continues. You can vote early at the Dr. Petty Dotson Public Health Center from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. today, and you can also vote early on Monday and Tuesday. Extended hours are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And on the ballot, it's Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage. No Democrats were placed on the ballot for this year's Goliad County elections. The Goliad Advance Guard reports the Texas Secretary of State website allows all 9 candidates who filed for the 6 county offices up for election. They filed as Republicans. And join 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia for the 2024 Crossroads Heart and Stroke Walk that takes place on Saturday, February 3rd, Election Day at 8 a.m. The walk's going to start at 8:15 at Riverside Park. Riverside Park is at 311 Memorial Drive, and you can register or donate by visiting crossroadsheartwalk.org. Secession and independence have been perennial themes throughout the history of Texas, but the Civil War established that a state cannot secede. This story by the Texas Tribune is on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now we have time for a final check of our forecast with Parker. Parker, how's it looking out there? Are we gonna need an umbrella today?
Well, if you want an umbrella to get rid of this fog, yeah, Carolina, that is bad fog out there this morning. This is right here in the, we're gonna need to remind y'all to please be careful, please be careful in this fog, because this is looking not too great out there this morning. But about right now, 54 degrees here in the Crossroads, but with that dew point just 1 degree off from that, you got a 97% humidity, and that's exactly what's driving up the fog for most of us here in the Crossroads. In fact, as we look across the board, most of us are seeing some foggy conditions out there this morning. But the good news is that fog will be clearing up by around 9 or 10 a.m. this morning as that sun starts coming out in the sky. But looking at your future tracker here, because we're expecting today might be the last day of those showers. I think we might see some light showers and some drizzle coming our way this afternoon. But the good news is it's all out of our area drying up going into tonight. But looking at the extended forecast here, as soon as that rain is all said and done, we are right back to that nice, cool biking weather for Carolina.
Yes, I love working out outside whenever I can, and so that weather lends itself to it.
Very nice.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful start to your weekend. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join Karina, Don, Mac, and Zach for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.